Well, good morning. Good morning to all the dignitaries. Uh, it's been pleasure having you on our show, the international webinar on the art of expressing one's thought. Uh, as we know, we belongs to the northern part of Karnataka, wherein most of the talents are lagging in with the communication and they're not ready to express themselves they though they have much of knowledge about technology or communication whatever it is, but we have got a very good opportunity to have you three in our show to to explore on these things and to have a insights to give insights to our students, which is much needed for our students. So uh, we belongs to KLE Society, PC Jabin Science College, Hubballi, which is an autonomous college. We have NAC re-accredited at A level with CGPA 3.43 out of 4, and our college is college recognized as college with potential for excellence in phase 3, and also we have selected for Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, which is being awarded by Government of India. And the main idea of having this show, which is being organized and sponsored by the Alumni Association of the college, which is being headed by Professor Sumangla Patil Madam. So our alumni are always supportive in motivating the present students in getting them into the industry, and so we have got we had a communication with Anu Madam. We can have this kind of sessions. So she is very keen on having these kind of activities since almost a year. When entire world went to pandemic, we were not lagging in to providing the knowledge to the students. So I, on behalf of KLE Society Belagavi and on behalf of KLE Society Pichizab in Science College, I extend my sincere welcome to Sri Satish Jamkandi sir and Sri Vijay Mane sir, and also the moderator of the today's function, Srimati Anu Benkatti madam. Thank you so much. And also, I would like to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. L.D. Varkeri sir, and also Principal BCA, Professor Sunil Varnekar sir, and Secretary Alumni Association, Professor Sumangla Patil Madam for this session. And not the least, I would like to welcome my dear students who are the main focus of today's event. So now I would like to hand it over to Anu Benkatti Madam. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Sidhu, for a wonderful introduction, and glad to be here. Very good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining, and hope you all are following the SMS rules and staying safe. And definitely looking forward to your participation with many questions as we go forward in the show. So today's chosen topic that Mr. Sidhu mentioned, the art of expression of one's thought, and it's interconnected with many different aspects and challenges. So let's try to explore and learn many things about it with the help of our today's guests. And before we begin, I would like to introduce a little bit about them, who they are. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Vijay Mane. He's our first guest, and of course, he is from our local Dharwad Hubli. And he's an experienced, successful entrepreneur, serving as a director of Deshpande Startups Hubballi, STM Institute of Management Development, Karnataka. After his graduation in Management Sciences from STM, Institute for Management Development, Mysore, he worked in financial markets as an analyst, and some of his focus areas were businesses, companies, industries, and business valuations. Also carried out the periodic analysis of Indian equity and debt markets, portfolio managements, and valuation of mutual funds as well. So with his 23 years of experience in leading several businesses successfully, from wholesale to retail, trading of home and gas appliances, dairy, food processing, and to a software product company, photography and digital fine arts, strategic consulting to lifestyle businesses. He has been a part of several startups, sellouts, and also shutdowns. So it's a very, very deep, the experience that he has in this field. So we definitely will explore, completely. And to tell him, about him, he is specifically enjoy solving business problems. So that is where the main question and focus is going to be for him, and definitely talk about it more. So let me welcome Mr. Vijay Mane. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome.
Pleasure, Anu. It's an honor to be on this forum.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. So really looking forward to have some fun discussion today. So our next guest is Mr. Satish Jamkhandi, and he's all the way from California, USA. He completed his MBA from Kausal Institute of Management Studies, Karnataka University in marketing and production. And he is a technology leader with an ability to distill complex technical concepts into meaningful information for the non-technical and management world to understand. So he has extensive background in the financial, healthcare, insurance, pharmaceutical, and also sales, marketing, and technology industries, with special emphasis in quality management, development of dashboard metrics, and executive management performance monitoring, and also report generation for the IT solution deployment. So he's a strategic thinker, analytical, and innovative. And with his 25 years of experience in IT and business domains in the United States, he brings a big picture perspective, strong structured problem-solving ability, which will be our focus also today, with attention to risk identification and mitigation. And he's definitely a people person who enjoys working with diverse teams in a matrix managed approach, and excellent writer, communicator, and thrives in setting up new businesses, initiatives, and follows them up towards successful completion. So his expertise include program and project management, product management, business analysis, and also process re-engineering, implementations, merge and acquisition 21, and more. And I have to say this one with the pride that he mentors over 2,000 students for their career path in IT and business domains. So it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Satish Jamkhandi. Thank you. Pleasure having you.
Thank you, Anu. Good to be here.
All right. So today we are going to have a very interesting conversation. I hope all the students have open ears, and then, just give us a very challenging questions today that what they want to know. As we all know very well, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced everyone around the globe to modify mandatorily their daily activities, and putting a significant strain on the social aspects, especially on students. So, adapting digital learning has caused a great impact on their studies, and also disrupted their learning process. So let us try to address some of these issues that what we actually saw them facing, and solutions also many students are searching for in today's session of this webinar. So let me start with Mr. Vijay. So, we all agree on one thing, whether it's a business, medicine, or a law, or a politics specifically, the communication is the key. So, so what are some of those secrets of communication, and how do one learn and implement those skills to achieve the goal towards success?
Yeah, so, very interesting question. And I keep thinking about this because, I myself see many a times that I'm not a very effective communicator. And, even now, while I'm talking, I'm very conscious that what exactly that I want to express, whether I'll be able to do it or not. And this happens quite often with me wherever I go.
Right.
The best part is that, I am sensitive about this. So I realize that it's so important that, I need to express my thoughts, my feelings, or the message that I want to convey, which becomes one of the key things in anybody's career for that matter. So when we see that there's so much of technology has made life easier. A lot of things have been automated today, but if you see, this expressing feelings is still untouched area. It's so difficult to express what exactly I want to convey, and that becomes a very important part in everyone's life. And so communication comes in 2-3 ways, or many more, but one way says that the written communication that we use. So students probably write some research papers, they write assignments, and they would have had so many thoughts, but how do you really put it on a paper which gives the best possible meaning to the person who is reading or who is assessing. The second could be the oral communication, where you communicate straight face to face or over a platform like this. This platform is even new for me because I've never been on such platform where I'm not able to see my audience. Otherwise, we are there on Zoom or.
That's challenging. Now you know what students are going through.
Right, and so this is something becomes very important.
Right.
Otherwise, I think we'll not be able to connect to the person. Okay, so first and foremost point is that let us realize this communication is the most important part. Wherever you go, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a research scholar, you want to be in teaching field becomes even more important, that communication has to be the best level. Because you are going to build the students for the next future growth. This is the communication as an area is a mix of art and science. So art because you need to bring creativity, science because you need to practice it. There is no formula as such that you can simply understand the formula and start expressing. That doesn't happen. And as students grow up in their career and start taking senior most positions, or they become entrepreneurs and they have to handle teams under them, the single most factor becomes the which is important for driving a leadership quality is communication. And today, if you see that most of the world leaders we can recognize. So if somebody asks me who is your favorite, I say Steve Jobs. Why? I don't know what technical knowledge he has, but whenever he has spoken, he has made me understand that he thinks creatively. So we take our anybody for that matter. The moment we start recollecting people, we only see that who can speak well. So how do we connect with our prime minister, because he's one of the best speakers we ever come across. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So this way, there needs to be a lot of practice that needs to be done. Couple of things I can suggest as maybe tools for one to improve, but that's not the end in itself. Two books specifically I would like to recommend, or rather 3 books. All the 3 books are written by Norman Lewis, and these books are called Better English, Word Power, and How to Read Better and Faster.
Right.
Okay. I'm sure students must be knowing, because they're all trying to explore competitive exams post 12th or what. But these 3 books are, they are related to English, but written it in a fiction manner. So people start reading it, they feel like, those page turners, right? You feel like turning the pages. So this
they can put themselves in their shoes and see that actually what is written probably in that book.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of exercises, and every time you go through that book, you only improve yourself.
Right.
Okay. Because you get a good foundation. That's what I'm telling I'm specifically trying to become more focused on English part. So, these 3 books will put you on a, better foundation, and thereafter you need to practice. So there is also quite a popular club in Hubli, which is making quite of news nowadays, is Toastmasters.
Right.
It's an international, club for communication, and I've seen some of the senior people from there. They're amazing. I mean, they can keep you engaged for hours together.
Right.
Okay. So communication is very important. you need to practice that, and over a period of time that creativity art will develop, is what I would like to say.
Well, thank you, Vijay. I think I'm going to hand the same question to our expert, Satish. What do you say?
So actually, Vijay stole all my ideas and thoughts, and I have nothing to say. I'm just hellbound, right? The first thing that he stole from me was, I still have issues communicating to people, right? And I think this is a journey, and you never reach the destination here. And you know, specifically because we all come from Kannada, medium backgrounds. Many of us have come from Kannada medium backgrounds. And when we talk about communication, it can be oral, or it can be written, or it can be signs many a times, right? Many a times you don't have to speak a word, but you still communicate what you want to say.
Right.
I agree with everything Vijay said, and it is extremely important for us to have very clear thought process, right? And the delivery of our communication needs to be watched out for. It has to be slow. It has to be logical. And it has to be, in a track. Like, you, for example, you say a few things, then you come back and then say, did you follow the proper track? Or did you actually mix up things? You said one thing first, and the fourth thing second, and the seventh thing third. So your sequencing of your thought process is extremely important, right? And most importantly for us, we need to keep our communication very simple. Having seen so many people across the globe, belonging to so many different backgrounds, it is not the accent. It is not the grammar. It is not how fast you speak, right? I've seen people who speak in very, very local, regional language accents, English language itself, but they're excellent communicators, right? Whereas some of them have adopted the accent and they speak well, but accent is not important. I mean, we have experts in certain systems, certain processes and all. They don't know how to communicate like the best orators of the world. But people listen to them.
Correct.
There are two main things to the communication, right? One is the thought and the knowledge that you want to convey, and how you convey.
Right.
If there is a good balance between these two, you're fine. Like, for example, I'm extremely good at, let's say, economics, but my grammar is not so good. You can balance them out. And when this is, again, accent, the choice of vocabulary, all these things are good in the initial 2, 3, 4 sentences. After that, it is the meat that matters of what you speak. If you keep on blabbering whatever you want, using the whatever jargons you want, that's not going to actually convey the message across. You still need to have the right material that you want to convey. So coming back to the question again, secrets of good communication, right? First of all, what do I want to communicate? Have I done my homework? Do I have my thought process laid out?
Sure.
And can I communicate this to somebody who has absolutely no idea about what I'm saying, but still make him understand? It's like a very small kid. Can you explain to him how things happen? Will they be able to actually say, hey, yes, I got it, right? So getting that kind of an acknowledgement from the audience as to, am I audible? Did I make my point clear? I mean, I missed on this. I missed on it. Accept your communication weaknesses. Absolutely no problem. People are okay with that, right? But again, finally, as Vijay said it rightly, there is no magic pill, right? It has to be practiced. I mean, people say you stand in front of a mirror and practice. It really works. It really works, right? So the more we engage with people, the more we speak up to others, and this skill, we hone it ourselves, right? And communication is extremely essential. All things being equal, who will hit the CEO position is the person who speaks well, if all other things being equal. But again, don't get me wrong. Somebody who can speak really, really good will become a CEO. No, I'm saying all other things being equal. The knowledge, the skill, the people skills, the technology part, all of that still needs to be there. But somebody who has better communication takes an edge over.
how you take the bitter medication doesn't matter, but as long as it goes inside and brings the good out of it, I think that's what it matters. So, all right, sounds great.
Yeah.
So just to follow up those questions to both of you. So I know that communication is so important, but effective communication is also very important, like, how, like what you just said, and through which platform that you're conveying that one is also important, because nowadays that we are communicating through email, text message, WhatsApp, you name it, and we have so many different ways to communicate, and it is nothing can really comparable to the one that face to face, how we just with our expression, eye to eye communication. So does that really is affecting our communication in wherever that you are trying to succeed? Satish, you want to take that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think these communication media that we use today, like emails, for example, or even short messages, SMS, or probably the, for brevity, we use many other sources. We send a small message.
Right.
They are all very crucial. You still need to follow the entire etiquette of the communication, right? Just because I'm sending a small message, I can send whatever. No, that does not work, right? And I want to come back to the point that during pandemic, people they were forced to use, the Zoom sessions or the Google Meets or, platforms like this to communicate, right? Chat messages that we send are extremely important and very sensitive, because it adds an additional level of challenge to the communication.
Yes, it does.
When I'm talking something and I'm conveying a message to you, I mean, you're laughing because we have seen so many issues created just because a statement was sent out and I read it and interpreted one way, you read it, interpreted in another way, completely different, right? So in terms of our gestures, in terms of our tone, there is a communication that happens that is missing in our messages. So we have to be very clear, simple, and use as much as possible other tools that are available, like the emoticons, right? So, I mean, you're just making a statement, put a smiley if your feeling is like, it's a nice statement I'm making. If you don't put that smiley, that it may be just a bland statement, or it may be a sarcastic statement, who knows, right? So use all the tools available. So during pandemic, we are forced to use these technologies, right? Excellent. We better use them and excel at our communication.
Yeah, thank you. That was really, I hope it helped students who are actually, because the communication is the biggest challenge that nowadays for all the students, whether it's, especially if you're an introvert, it's definitely a developing skill that it has to be come out, like what Vijay mentioned, that I myself am very nervous sometimes, so it definitely matters. So next question again, Vijay, let me give you this one. Many times, we are not sure, right? And go through several rehearsals before we even go, whether it's an interview or even a stage performance, anything. So, and still get nervous. I'm talking about confidence. So how do you showcase your talent? Like, we have it in us, but how do you showcase it? And, with the confidence.
Yeah. So I think answer for this was given by Satish in his first narrative, where see, confidence comes only when we are confident that what we are going to talk, we know it correctly, right? So if somebody asks me to come and speak on probably a technology product or a solution, irrespective of how much ever preparation I make, I'll never have the confidence, because I would have made the preparation only from the point of view of what I'm going to talk about there. So it is very important that we know the subject well, we know its application well, we are confident. I mean, we have something enjoyed these couple of subjects over a period of time, and it's like it's digested in my heart, right? If now anybody wants to speak about a business, I think I can confidently represent myself,
right?
Okay, because I've done a lot of things, and I also know that at point of time I don't know, and that's fine enough, because I know I have given decades for this. So what I have learned, I'm proud about that, and what I don't know, I don't know. But we are there in a scenario where we are talking beyond our strength. That's where the confidence comes down. Okay, so it's not really about what kind of accent I have, how do I really look, how am I going to stand on the stage. What matters is that how much content I have got, which is like my strength. So for any such opportunities where anybody has to go and speak, either it's in a panel discussion or is it a seminar or a presentation of paper or whatever. Simple things that what we need to know is that what is this about, and why are we going to speak, and how are we going to do it? Are we going to run the presentation? Are we going to use some videos? These three things, if you know correctly, the context of this speech, and what exactly I'm going to present there, and how am I going to present, these three things are there. Put some efforts, bring in as much as creativity as possible, and go and do it, because I think the lack of confidence is also in our mind. It's not the audience is expecting that from you. This, they say, the fear is, I don't know, fear whether it's there or not, but we are very perceptive about fear, right? So we just have to let it go, and goes wrong. I mean, it's okay. It's not that we are the losers, right? But having said that, this thought will come whenever you go to a certain place. You build up some kind of perception that there are people. Some people are going to ask a lot of questions, and I may know, I may not know. It's okay, absolutely fine. I think what we know, we can speak, but preparation is essential. Prepare and go, so that you're always at the best possible position you are in.
So depth of a knowledge can definitely followed by the confidence itself with the creativity. So you don't have to worry. Everything else just put behind and just put yourself there and give your best. So that's a great answer. Thank you. So Satish, this one is probably your expertise field, since you mentor so many students. Actually, students are given the key to success many times, and through education or any kind of experience, or like given a practical knowledge, everything, but they already have what it takes. But opportunities can be missed by them by making the wrong decisions. So just give some of these students, they are not sure and they struggle with these how to make it. So what is your advice on making a proper decision when it's needed?
Okay, so this is like a $1 billion question, right?
Yes,
because we all make decisions, and we all make sometimes wrong decisions, right? First of all, taking a decision is good, whether right or wrong. So let's have that courage and confidence to take a decision, right? Indecision is worst, right? And decisions go wrong. Why, right? I mean, if we just go to the root cause analysis of why a decision went wrong, many a times you feel that given circumstances, you took the right decision. So as they say, the hindsight is 20/20, right? So if I look at my life, 30 years back when I finished my MBA, if I had a Control-Z button to undo, I would undo a lot of things.
Things, right?
So, but that's not life. Control-Z is only there in the computer, not in life, right? Yes. So there are many decisions you have to take. And today they might look wrong to you, but when you took those decisions, they were correct decisions. They were right decisions, right? I didn't buy a house, for example, 20 years back, because 20 years back, the parameters that impacted whether to take or not to take a house, they dictated that I should not be buying one, right? So first of all, what I want to convey is, don't get lost with that wrong decision. Wrong decisions happen. It is fine, no problem at all. So now, when you realize now that it was a wrong decision from me, right? Now you go back and quickly do an analysis of what went wrong, what should I have actually done, I should have done to course correct myself, right? So basically, a decision making is based on the SWOT analysis, what they say, right? And many of the students know the strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, right? So given a problem or given an opportunity, you take a decision, either you go A wise or B wise, right? So how did you go to these decisions? What parameters did you analyze, right? So proper study of some methodologies how to take a right decision. What is, for example, again, I'm probably advising to the students here who are already much more advanced than I myself when we studied this. So there are fishbone diagrams, there are Ishikawa fishbone diagrams, right? There are the SWOT analysis, and there are 5 whys, right? Any decision you want to take, you keep on asking 5 times a problem, why, right? You will get to a solution, right? Now, in my opinion, what I would say is, a wrong decision goes, go do a root cause analysis and go to a next one. Many a times, environmental factors force you to assume that the decision that you have taken was a wrong decision. Environmental factors. It is not even the reality. So first of all, identify yourself. Is it really wrong? Or is it just an assumption? Or is it just because I'm too stressed right now in my job that I picked up? I'm thinking, oh, I shouldn't have picked up technology. I should have gone into economics. I should have gone into teaching. It is happening probably because you are under a certain stress or a certain situation. Get out of it for some time, right? Get out of it. And then think with a peaceful mind saying, okay, do I really have a problem? Is that a wrong decision? Now, 2 options. No, it is not a wrong decision. Continue your path. Have faith in your abilities and go ahead. Now, other path, no, it was a wrong decision, right? Many a times you agree to that. Then drop it down, and then now, what can I do right now to take a different course, right? That will be a right decision. And the second time when you take, will that be a right decision? It may be a wrong decision also. My thing is, the more you fail, the more you learn, right? But learn from that every failure, every wrong decision as to what could I have done right in the first place, right? So the amalgamation of all those lessons learned with the mistakes and with the wrong decisions, you will reach a point where you will have taken a right decision. Right? And again, don't think too much about these wrong decision, right decision things, because many a times we see others, we compare and think that ours is a wrong decision. So please don't do that. Don't compare with others when it comes to a decision. Purely think about yourself, your capabilities, your skills, your background, your interest, your historical effort that you put in that direction. You went in this way. Good. One word of caution. Don't do this thing very frequently, saying, 2 years you work in a certain area and then it was a wrong decision. I need to move to another one. So rolling stone never gathers from mass, right? So you got to actually get tenure. You have to have experience in a certain area, where, as Vijay mentioned, from a business point, he can talk anything. The reason being, he spent so many years, right? So please, don't be distracted. Don't think that you always have taken a wrong decision. But if you have taken a wrong decision, apply some methodologies and course correct yourself and move to the next one. And definitely ask for help. Ask for help. People will help you. Your seniors will help you. Your teachers will help you. Industry experts will help you. So be in the network and community of people who are successful, who are good thinkers, and pose the issue to them, and they'll be able to help you as well.
Absolutely. So that makes sense. And so, Vijay, following up that question, I know that making decision is now, I think they are in that boat right now because, due to pandemic, many students, not just here, throughout the globe, they have missed experiencing many valuable, opportunities, hands-on experience, especially. And so now that they have to make a decision, so that, where to start and how do they, how are they going to fill up that gap that they have missed, on their upcoming CV? Because I know a lot of them are going to be graduating soon and they have missed, there was a big gap that happened. So, with your experience, please give them some advice on it.
Yeah. So if you really see, we nobody likes, the COVID that has created mess around the world. But absolutely. I think in many areas it has also been, genie out of the bottle, and a lot of things have, opened up. Secondly, I think the problem is same for everyone. It is not that a particular student or a particular students from a particular city has faced this. So it's like everybody is on the same level level play field. Okay, so I think nobody has to worry about that, and it has affected the children a lot. From the kindergarten to the graduation and post graduation, everyone has their own impact. I think we should still stick to the basics. Okay, so when it is a time to take a decision about the career path, go back to your book and find out again what are the things that you really love to do, where your strengths lies in, and then identify opportunity around that. So there is a saying that says that if your passion becomes profession, then life is the best way to live, right? Because you are just doing that what you love to do, and you are up every day early morning and you go and enjoy that. So don't at all, my simple message to all the students here is that ignore this fact, what has happened over the last 2 years. Don't worry what you have missed. I think it's just the life comes around, and it was supposed to come like this, right? So when you are asking about the decision in the previous question, we should know that I think the even the divine persons like Lord Krishna has taken so many wrong decisions. So don't worry about that. Take up, see what you love to do. Where is your heart into it? Identify that. That is very important. It's okay you spend more time on that. Go around, meet people, see that where is that your heart in, and then find out what opportunities are around. And life has to be 360 degree. We know that a lot of improvement is happening, the growth is happening in technology space, the kind of salaries there, the growth that happens in technology space, we know that. But if you imagine all the people on this earth become software engineers, who is going to run restaurants, who is going to run travel? So it's always that level play has to be there. So don't worry, see what you love to do, identify that area, find out the opportunities, and build yourself, which is very important, because most of the time now, last 10-15 years, whatever you have done studies, you are in a very protected environment. You should come out and explore your knowledge in terms of practicality, how much you require to apply that in the real field. Okay, so knowledge is one, application is another. So go there and try and assess. Like they say, you can't learn swimming on an app. If you want to learn how to swim, then you've got to get into the water, right? So start doing that, start learning everything from a practical perspective. There are plenty of opportunities, and it's all about what you choose. If you love that, there is no better life than that.
Absolutely, because I want to add something to it, because when you said that, make the passion for, because many times that it's, even though it's not a wrong decision, that for some cause or for some reasons that we cannot achieve that what you really wanted. And I think instead of looking back, then choose what is ahead of you, and then choose that one, and then explore it. And then if that passion will become your profession, then why not? Absolutely accept it. And I think that definitely worked for me. I have to say.
I was about to say that.
So absolutely, it is definitely a wonderful choice that made a huge difference in my life. So, and somewhere, somehow, that I'm so proud to say that you use that knowledge somewhere as you go, whatever the field you are in, then you will learn to apply that one towards whatever that you are doing it. And I think that is the magic of it. So definitely, I agree with you. That's an excellent approach, Vijay. Thank you. So the next question is going to be very important one. I want to hear from both of you what your view is. It's all about, I'm talking about, the building yourself up with the careful strategy, and like what we call as bragging ourselves about yourself. And I'm talking about strategies of it. So Satish, I want to ask you this one. What are the best strategies to market yourself? Because it's so important that, to present yourself and convey that message so that you can sell yourself. So how do you do that?
Okay. So I've seen a lot of students, right? Very capable students, and skill-wise, excellent, right? But they're not able to actually carry forward their interest, their zeal, and put it into the interviewer's mind that yes, this guy is the right fit for a job, right? So marketing ourselves, it's like marketing any product. So first of all, the product must have the right features. Similarly, if you want to market your services, you must be well trained, groomed into the area that you're getting into, right? So for that reason, you have to also do a background. So if you are a technology background person, for example, right, prepare yourself well. If you're applying for a job, for example, look at what the employer is looking for.
Got that, right.
There is a lot written between the lines. Understand what is the psyche. When you buy a product, many a times, through ads you buy, you don't need that product, but the advertisement will touch your psyche.
Right.
And then you say, oh, and creates a need that you should get that product.
Temptation.
Similarly, you need to create that impression. And for that, what do you need to do, right? If I'm applying for a job, first of all, see, do you have the right skills? Not just to clear an interview, but to survive and sustain, right? Do that work first. You may see a requirement. This is 90% happens. You may see a requirement, a job requirement on a job board. You have 20% of the skills, but 80% you don't have.
Right.
Of the 80%, 40% of it you have heard somewhere, somebody talking about it, but you are not very good at it. And remaining some, you have absolutely no idea. Should I or should I not approach that requirement, right? It depends on what that 20% accounts to for the entire requirement. If they are saying on the top, I need, like person who is expert in a certain area. For example, like I'm just going to use the technology area, right? I need a Java programmer, right? If you have Java programming skills, that's the first requirement. You got it. Rest of the stuff is secondary. You can always build on your skills. Versus if you are a artist and you want a animation job, you're not into programming at all. You're more into the use of a technology, right? Don't even approach a Java programming job. So pick the right requirement first. Second, understand the requirement to see, do you have, what percent of that requirement do you already have skills? What percent of that requirement can you prepare well? And one key thing is, one CV won't fit all requirements. Please don't have a boilerplate resume that you think will work for all requirements. It will never work. The reason being, today, employers don't have time to see all those 10,000 resumes and see each line. They feed the 10,000 resumes through a system that will pick the resumes based on the keywords and buzzwords. So of the 10,000, only 10 of them will fall into the interview
fit
bucket,
into that.
right? Because it has the right keywords. So you must work on your resume to make sure that first, the keywords that the employer is looking for are available, not just because you want to put it, you already have those skills also. It is just about expressing yourself. I'm extremely good at oratory skills, and they have asked for somebody who has good oratory skills or presentation skills, right? You must say that. Many a times I have seen this has happened to me many a times. Some of these basic soft skills, I don't want to brag about. Who will say that I have, good oratory skills, good communication skills? That's not something I should not be saying that. No, you must say that. It is not because of anything, but because that will get a hit on the resume selection process. And then you are given a chance to present yourself, right?
Absolutely.
This is first and second steps. First step is right requirement. Second step is have a CV that reaches out to that requirement. Third, work on all the skills that are part of the requirement. And when you are in an interview, talk the talk that the employer is expecting. Don't give him all the other stories and don't touch the core part that he was expecting at all. Your first opening monologue is extremely important. Most of the time, the employer will want to know an open-ended question. Hey, what have you done in the last 4 years? Or tell me something about yourself. This is an excellent opportunity to showcase what you know related to that particular job requirement, right? the first time you make that statement for 5 minutes, you are in or out of the job. He's already made up his mind by listening to your first monologue. If you didn't do a good job in your first statement, it takes a Herculean effort later on to get back into the game. Versus if you make a first good impression, again, no faking, okay? It has to be prepared. You must have the skills. You have already practiced all these things a couple of times beforehand. You may have failed in a couple of interviews, fair enough, right? But with all this preparation, when you do the monologue that reaches out to the employer, you make a click there. Sustaining in a job is more or less easy compared to getting into a job.
Right.
So clearing that interview hurdle, preparation hurdle is more important than surviving on a job, because you always are smart kids. You have already taken so many different advanced courses, complex courses. You have excelled in them. You have cleared your education means. You have what it takes to survive on a job. Don't worry too much about the survival, because once you go onto a job, if 8 hours a day, if you start working on rocket science also is not a big deal. You will be able to work on it. Right? So again, coming back to the question and the objective, good selection of a requirement, good representation of your resume, preparing well on the skills, presenting well are the key ingredients to a successful career path selection.
Thank you. Vijay, do you have any follow-up comments on that?
Yeah, so, when it comes to, the brand building, individual brand building, it's every student has to be very cautious about this part, and they have to put in a lot of effort to make sure that, they give the right perception to wherever they are going. Probably they are going for higher education, or, they are approaching some UPSC exams, or, they are approaching for a job or wherever. And typically what happens is that today, as it's all about using technology to assess and give you a score even before you get an interview call, as Satish also mentioned. Get your digital presence as accurate as possible, which can present you in the best possible manner. Right now, today also, even if you're going to buy some product, we just go and first search. Our age is that, right? So we go search. So similarly, if somebody is trying to try and understand, let's say your CV has been selected with whatever algorithms that is there, and they want to do a bit of more research before they call you for the next level of talk. It could be an interview for higher education, or for a job, whatever. And they see your behavior pattern, right, on FB, Insta, and LinkedIn, or different forums.
Nowadays, a lot of them, it's available.
Yeah, and I think every one of us should develop a very strong professional persona on digital media. Minimum 2 things, I think. One is LinkedIn, another is blog, if you can develop. It's okay. I mean, don't worry, you need to do big research and put a blog. You can just share your experience of what you felt about XYZ thing, but write it in a nice way, and keep your LinkedIn profile very professional. Be on the right groups that matter to you. And just build your the kind of articles you read, the kind of articles you share will create your persona on digital media, and that shows what exactly you are, right? And today we are all working remotely, so how are people going to judge without meeting you? It's all your digital presence. So consciously we should do it, and it takes time to build a strong persona on digital platforms. It takes time, and we should put that serious effort to really present what we are.
Thank you, Vijay. That really, definitely an apt decision that with the current situation, because, we are also, along with everything that what Satish said, probably if they follow it, I think it's definitely, a great help for them too, before they even present themselves, or even just to, go and put their first step towards that, job market. So, well, we do have some more time, maybe about a couple of questions. So let me ask you, the question about, it's really exciting to start, sometimes even after the graduation, your own business. And you can be your own boss, flexible schedule, and like decision making power, and so on and so forth. So there are so many advantages of having your own business. But if I'm thinking right, there are many hurdles comes with that. It's not that easy to just go and start your own business, and it requires probably the skills, marketing, investment management, and you name it, and there are so many of them there. So what are the challenges of this? And then like how quickly can you make this decision? So with your experience.
Yeah. Okay. So the best part of this question, there is no correct answer for this. Nobody can be able to give you, right?
We'll try our best.
Yeah. So I'll give only my perspective, and business itself is not a maths, right? So I may say it works. It may not work in reality. I mean, that's how the business is, right? So so the entrepreneurship scenario in the recent past, when we see, it's become a big craze now, if I have to say. A lot of startup stories, and people coming in limelight at a very early age, and then being invited on so many big platforms and all that, a very life with what do I say, that right word I'm not getting, but a life everybody would like to win, a celebrity kind of a life, right? So entrepreneurs are big celebrities today. But what we need to understand is that if we see the recent research that has come out, the success rate of a startup is 0.05%. It means only 5 out of 10,000 startups are succeeding. So you see that there is a huge failure ratio, but we only look at this 5 out of 10,000. We have 41 unicorns in India now. Of them, I think 20 have been added in the last 18 months, when the entire world was suffering. Okay. I really cannot, because you can call me like I'm like a farmer in a business environment. I only believe hard work produces results. I don't understand anything else. Just smart work produces, but not like in 18 months you become $1 billion company, right? I don't believe in that, but things are happening. Okay,
so that's possible. A different, right?
Yeah, that's a different matter,
right?
But entrepreneurship is a great place to be in. Okay. Not because success is assured, okay, but the life is going to be full of challenge. And it is said that the best comes out of people when they are in the most adverse conditions, not when you have the best of the best things with you.
Right. Yes.
I've rarely seen people having a lot of money have succeeded in the business, but people who didn't have the resources have made well in their life, right? So and also scenario is also changing. Another part that the entrepreneurship mindset is required even if you're taking up a job now, right? So it's not just because I have an engineering degree, I have a medicine degree, and I've done so and so research paper, and I deserve a job. No, their entrepreneur is also looking at, okay, how are you going to apply this and produce business, profits for me? If I'm giving you a lakh rupees of salary, is definitely expecting at least 15 to 20 lakhs to earn from my side. So it's going to be like that. So entrepreneurship mindset must be developed. Every student should develop. Now, whether they want to go and become entrepreneur, whether they want to become employees in startups, or they want to pursue large enterprises route, these traits have to be there. Yeah. You are the person who are going to go and talk to your boss saying that this is what I'm going to generate for you. Okay, you need to give that. Okay, these are the things that you're expecting, this is how I will do it, and this is what I'll generate, and everybody's tracking. And today most of the companies are using technology to assess the impact level, so you cannot really hang around for a long time.
Yes.
Okay, unless you produce that. So that thinking is required, but don't assume that getting into entrepreneurship is easier, better, fancier than doing. Your life is going to be very, very challenging there. Get more exposed to entrepreneurs world. There's a lot of material that is available on the digital media, but don't look at only the great stories. Also try and go to the forums where failures are shared. Also, especially people who are there in Hubli, Dharwad, I welcome you people to Deshpande Startups, which is doing amazing work to spread the right message around entrepreneurship. Okay. There are programs for students which we call as Yuva Entrepreneurship, where the program gives you exposure to the entrepreneurial world. It's almost like 4 to 5 months kind of a program, which is generally done for the degree students. So when you are at right age, you should come. Otherwise, also you can come and explore. There are student entrepreneurs and all that thing happens. Get exposed. Go to the organizations like now all organizations have got students wing. TIE has a student wing, CIA has a student wing. Try to go there. Get exposure. Learn. You see the business in inside and outside as much as possible before you take a step.
That's wonderful.
There is one nice thing, I want to just tell one small incident of one of the successful entrepreneur who told is that don't get bitten by this entrepreneurial bug. When it bites for the first time, ignore that. Okay, and do what you are doing. If it bites for the second time, then you think whether you want to become an entrepreneur or not. So, just wanted to share that nice experience that a very experienced entrepreneur who shared this story. So, yeah,
absolutely. And I think, yes, I know what you're talking about, because I think that a lot of them have that experience, and when you say this one, probably they'll think back and say like, okay, we have to look back. So Satish, I'm going to ask you quickly if you can please just share, because you are an entrepreneur, not just in India, like you stepped away, like for thousands of miles away, and then you experienced that one. So if you can share it in a couple of minutes quickly, then we can also attend
sure.
a couple of questions too. Thank you.
Sure. So I think I agree with what Vijay mentioned, right? So entrepreneurship skills are required everywhere, right? And I think there is no one right way, wrong way for this, right? The people have approached it differently, and they have become successful. They have become failures also, right? And don't just go with those, jazzy success stories. There are very few happening in the world, right? But one safety net that you can build around yourself is figure out, again, SWOT analysis of yourself. First of all, what are my strengths? Am I meant for it? Do I have the right skin to get into an entrepreneurship role, right? Because it's not for everybody.
Right.
It's not for everybody. And if you have it, and if you have a native background in that particular area, go for it immediately. If you don't have it, try to get some knowledge about the area that you want to get into at somebody else's cost, but providing them the appropriate level of benefit for hiring you, right? So go ahead, join a company, do the right work, and volunteer yourself to get into other areas than what you're working. If you're in accounts, also say, can I try a sales job? Or can I talk to people who are doing sales? Can I talk to people who are doing support, services? Try all the different disciplines of a company,
right,
and see what does it take to have all of those qualities into one person. And can you handle that? If you can, you are an entrepreneur. You should approach it, right? And when should you actually make that, switch from being an employee to an entrepreneur? There is, again, no silver bullet, right? So people have become entrepreneurs after working for 25 years for big companies. Right. And people have become, without even working for anybody, they've become. So the landscape is pretty huge, right? So make a call, make a right call, gain some knowledge, gain some skills, definitely evaluate yourself. Are you that material? Do definitely read biographies and autobiographies of people who have been successful, who have been failures, right? Even still, Lee Iacocca is one of the major books that we all read in our MBA. It still happens to be the best book ever, right? And read and see what they have come across. Were they meant to be the CEOs or the entrepreneurs of the world, or were they not? What did they do to get into those roles? Learn from what people have already gone through. That will probably help a lot, right?
Yeah, probably Dave Ramsey is the best example to start with, I guess.
Sure.
And and his strategies are definitely something that we need to go back and think about. Absolutely right. Well, thank you. Well, tell me in quick words that both of you, I don't know what your views are about it. A lot of them believe, like, on behalf of all parents and even students, that I want to ask you this one is, getting a higher education gets a better job. Truth or myth?
No right or wrong solution again, right? So getting higher education and applying that education into the job, yes, the higher education paid off. Mm-hmm. I'm a PhD in, let's say, neurology, mm-hmm. and I'm a guitar teacher, music teacher, right? It may not work. So it is not just a blank statement of higher education. So have you taken higher education in the area of your interest? Education always helps.
Right.
It always gives you the inputs. As you mentioned, right? Although my interest is something different, I might drift there. But all that I studied in engineering, in MBA and all, it'll come to use anywhere you go, right? Mm-hmm. So getting higher education in the area of interest, in the area where you want to make your career, will be definitely a good thing. And when you are at it, study more. Don't get into the rat race of making money and then leave the education.
That is true. That is true. That's a good one. So, Vijay, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely concur with what Satish has said. In addition to what I want to tell to the students is that what academic curriculum we have been having so far. Mm-hmm. Of course, NISP is changing that in many times. But if you see the higher education, mm-hmm. In India, has a lot of practical approach. Okay, so what happens is that from our schooling to most of the graduation, we are too theoretical. Okay, yes. We are in the classroom or in the college, not really beyond that. Trying to apply what we have learned. Mm-hmm. But when you're doing, let's say, MBA or you're doing MTech or you're doing PhD, a lot of things are they are practical in nature and application oriented. So it is always better that you post graduation, maybe you take a year or two break and get exposed to the real environment and then go and do it, your higher education.
Right.
Conventionally, parents don't like it because they want a smooth journey and then they really get on to great job to start with. Mm-hmm. But again, these are like 0.05% kind of a success stories. What will happen today? I see that there are MBA students, after completing MBA, they are hardly paid 10,000-12,000 rupees for the job. Mm-hmm. Basically because they never got into practical real life. They paid huge money to complete their MBA, but they're not able to apply themselves to the reality.
Right.
So try to take from your graduation level, try to approach practicality, whatever you're learning, whether try and understand mm-hmm. why we calculate LCM, why we calculate HCF. Try and understand where we can apply. There are so many geometrical theorems that we have gone through. Try and see where it comes to use, and that's when your higher education adds a lot of value, and that will be you will be able to represent that learning when you're going and doing your first job or a job after your higher education. You will be able to produce results also.
Right. That's definitely makes sense. And I think, with the current situation also, I think the more they apply and implement it, I think the more, they start understanding it. So, well, thank you. So let me also just to quickly add one more, the question is, like, in a job market, once you enter, certain things are extremely important. And one of them is, I think it's a work etiquette. That's probably, and also the manners. So quickly tell me that, how does it help? Like, how seriously they should consider having it as a part of their, learning process before they even, think about getting into climbing the ladder or some, in their job. Vijay, you want to think?
Yeah, sure. So when we really look at a perspective of organizations' success, mm-hmm. One of the things what matters the most over a period of time that we have realized, in my early career, I never felt it was an important part, but in the long run, we see, what matters is the culture of the organization. What kind of a culture you have. Do you respect your colleagues? Do you respect your customers? Honestly respect, right? So when a customer calls you at midnight, and if it's the need of the hour to support and solve that problem, we must solve that. So all this, our behavioral part, our conduct, our etiquettes, or largely if we bundle it into integrity, that decides the culture of the organization. And culture of the organization is very, very important if we really want to consistently grow. And therefore all these matters are very important, and we should keep learning that and keep improving it. We should make that effort in terms of presenting ourselves well. Small things like we might just ignore, why do I polish my shoes today? It gives a lot of negative energy. Again, there are certain different kind of industries where things might be okay not to have a polished shoes, like we are in real estate, so you can't expect on the site and all. But I think every industry will require some basic etiquettes, and we should understand that, and we should follow them, because that gets converted into culture. And so there is also one thing that it says that we see as a business people, entrepreneurs, we see the strategy is the most important thing in any business.
Yes.
But there is a saying says that culture eats strategy in breakfast.
Right.
And it happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. But Satish, I want to ask you the same question, because I know on an international level, so when it comes to organizational behavior, I think it's a whole different story. So I want to hear it from you quickly.
Yeah. So Anu, I agree with Vijay, as he mentioned, right? I think here also, predominantly the mission values of the company are very core, right? So the core values of the company is something that we all need to know by heart and then practice it every day. Right. So gone are those days when we used to talk about, there is politics, there is pulling legs and all that stuff. It's very short-lived. Right. It's not going to build the huge enterprises. True. If you have to be a big company, if you have to be in a big position, people skills, being punctual on time, and being respectful of others, and accountability, integrity, right, and customer focused. Who's customer? Not just external customers, internal customers also, right? So if you are, let's say, for example, if you are a finance and accounts person, every person who is getting a payroll from you, whether he is a peon or he is a CEO, they are your customers. You got to make sure that they are happy with your services, right? So that customer-focused approach. And there is always a very popular question asked to most of the managers: will you hire somebody who's very good at work, who does not have a good attitude, versus somebody who's not good at work but he has right attitude? Right? The right attitude, manners, and those things, they are in your DNA, and they need to be part of your DNA, right? So those things are not something that you can learn on a daily basis by reading something, right? And when you are a student, please approach them that way. Try not to bully somebody, right? Try to actually bring up people. Those are the skills that you learn at your school that you apply, and that's what all these the pitchis and the senior executives are, right? They are people's persons, right? They bring up people. The leader is somebody whom you want to follow, right? And yes, etiquettes and manners. You have to have very polished manners, and that's the only thing that will help you. And again, as Vijay mentioned, don't just show off that. Have it in your blood, imbibe them, because that's the right way of doing things. That's the right way of doing things, right?
Yes, absolutely. So since we are constrained of the little time, so let me quickly give you a minute each for you to make your, just give us your little advice on your, to students. Vijay, I'll start with you.
No, I lost you for a second.
Okay.
Advice on what part is it?
Yes, I was saying, like we have 1 minute for each of you to just, give a little advice as a closing, remarks for the students.
Yeah. So, the life is going to be beautiful. Remember that, and just prepare. What exactly you want to do. The most important part, I think, is figuring out what you want to do. Once you know what you want to do, the rest all will fall in place. So just try to find out, where's that one thing which will make you get up every day morning, and then pushes you there to do that. If you find that out, that's it. So just go and do that, and be very positive. And only the challenges and difficulties will only make the man, right? Otherwise we are just programmed robots, we can call, because we have been taught to be like this, right? But those things will test your your knowledge, your learnings, and makes you the real person who you are actually. So be very positive, be happy. Difficulties, embrace them, and then they will go off, right? So the only way to get away from any problems is to pass through them. So just pass through them. Let's be very obliged to this nature or God who has given us this life, and make the best use of it.
Thank you. Satish.
Yeah. Okay, so again, I've probably given a lot of advices already in the discussions, right? So I think most importantly, what it is don't use shortcuts, please, for anything in life. Go for that long haul. Be detailed oriented, right? Just scratch where it itches. No, that's not going to solve it. Be extremely honest to the point that it is painful. It pays you. The shortcuts, just bypassing people, bypassing the processes, that won't take you long, right? And as Vijay mentioned, there are a ton of opportunities available, irrespective of what background you have and what you're studying. Please don't you even think that technology is the only area where you want to be in, right? I am right now in a semiconductor company, and I'm not in technology at all. I'm completely on global operations, managing warehouses, managing supply chain operations. There's a ton of stuff that you need to do. You don't need to be a programmer for it. You don't need to, but again, please be mindful. Using a computer, using Microsoft Office products is not even technology skill. It's a soft skill that you all need to have. Similarly, if you have to even work in a store, you need good communication skills. So that's how essential they are. One. The second thing is, don't be overwhelmed by people who use jargons and talk fluently and all, right? That's not how they were born. They became like that after all the hair fell off, right? So they have spent 30, 35, 40 years to gain something, right? So where you start, go ahead, be confident. Communicate in simple terms. It'll work. Over a period of time, you will yourself see and evolve into a nicely, groomed professional who will work anywhere, right? And good luck to you guys, right? You are at a point where I wish we had such kind of programs, Sidhu and Anu arranging for us when we were in school to actually talk to people, at least exchange some ideas. You have a ton of opportunity right now. Digital media has everything that you want right now. Otherwise, we used to go actually buy books on the street to read something, right? It's not the same thing today. Opportunities are in plenty. Resources are in plenty. You have all the best wishes and good luck from us, right? Go for it. You'll be a success. Good luck, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. In one word, nowadays, I think sky is the limit if you, make up your mind and to achieve anything. So definitely that's a possibility. So there is no word like impossible anymore.
Anu, sky is not even a limit now.
Yes, sky is
you saw that. You saw that, right?
Definitely not.
Not even the sky, right? So that's what it has become.
Sky is probably not the limit. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. So, thank you so much for joining, and I hope today's discussion really helped many of you students in answering their questions. And due to time constraint, I think we probably will not be able to answer some of the student questions. But you're more than welcome to send the questions to me. I'll pass it on to our speakers, and they may be able to just answer questions later that can be answered. And I would like to thank Mr. Vijay. Thank you so much for your time and sharing, your wisdom with us with all these questions. And also, Satish, thank you so much. It was definitely a very valuable, informative session than answering all these questions. And and now that I would like to hand it over, for the closing remarks. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anu.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. This is really a good event that each and every word of this debate has been helpful, not only for the students, actually, this is for the faculty also. Because at this pandemic, we have been learning only towards to teach and the different things like. But we have not been having the idea that the entrepreneurship is also one of the things which has been making us to lively at this pandemic, because we have been in the homes itself and we can do anything which has been related to our home atmospheres like. Definitely, sir, we'll make use of this one, and I've been very thankful for this one actually. And I, Srimati Leena Obdekar, Assistant Professor, PC Jagan Science College, taking this opportunity to thank you all there. Actually, I'd like to thank Dr. L.D. Harkeri, sir, Principal, PC Jagan Science College, as well as Dr. Sunil Venekar, sir, Principal, BCA Section, for organizing this event actually for the students. And really, also I extend my great sense of gratitude towards these persons. Firstly, Sri Satish Jampandi, sir, the entrepreneur and the mentor for our community actually now, because the students need this one rightly. And I thank you for your encouraging words, sir. Thank you, there. And I greatly thankful for Vijay Mane, Director, Deshpande Foundation, and also for his support always. Usually we have been taking many of the things with regard to him in the PC Jagan Science College always. So thank you all again for this event also, sir. And the person behind all these events, Ms. Ma'am Anu Venkati ma'am. Without her support and enthusiastic words, we have not been in a position to do all these connectivities actually with the Satish sir and the Mane sir. Really thankful to you, ma'am. Thank you again. Not the least driving force behind all these things is our Secretary ma'am, Smangla ma'am, and also the Sidhu sir. Thank you both of you also. Thank you one and all who had been admitted for this one for making this event grateful and successful also. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll catch up again.
Absolutely.
See you, Vijay. Okay.
Right.
Appreciate
Bye.
it.
Okay. Nice meeting you, Mr. Satish. Bye.
Pleasure here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Sidhu. Thank you.
Ibru Bitra.
You can close live and we can